looks like you're ready. Go live. Here we go. All right, so I am figuring out how the technology works. So just be patient. The reason that this came up as something to try, um, uh, one of my colleagues, one of my fencing coach friends, we were chatting about the Vassal games I've been playing with my colleagues in Dallas. And we've been playing online, we've been using Discord, and then we've been using Vassal to play, and we can play then in real time. And it's pretty cool. And so I'd been chatting about that, and then Richard suggested, well, why don't you live stream it? And one of my other coaching associates there, Corey, said, oh, I've got a friend who live streams. He's only got like 10 people, and you've got more than that on your channel, so why don't you try live streaming? So the idea is that I'm going to try to live stream some of the Vassal gameplay that I do on Sunday nights and on Monday nights with my associates and colleagues who are in Dallas. And we're playing on Sundays La Bataille de Moscowa, basically the Battle of Borodino, and then on Mondays we're playing the Battle of Dresden. And so I'll be able to maybe stream at least one of those, but maybe both of them. And we'll just kind of test it out and see how it goes and see how people like it. To continue on with the test here, I'm just going to quickly take us to the Vassal display so you guys can see the map, and we can talk a little bit about how that works and see if this part of the presentation is functioning. All right, so here we are at Vassal for Dresden. Here across the top of the screen are a number of the different buttons that are going to bring up important information, similar to what you might have if you were actually playing the game in person on a tabletop. So, for example, over here, we've got our list here of morale level tables. So you'll know, where stuff moves if it goes on a morale level. Here then we've got our units themselves. So if we need to find a particular unit and grab it and pull it off onto the display, we can grab it and plunk it there. If we don't want to do that, we just click the undo button and it's done. Here then we've got the order of battle. Most of the La Bataille games in recent years have had these large displays where all of your troops and counters can be set up in advance, and then you can grab the counters and bring them on as reinforcements, or if you need to try to find the organizational hierarchy for your units, you can use that here too. The other thing, then we move on here. Now we've got the allies, the coalition, their morale level table tracking, and then here we've got their counters. So if we want to pull up their counters, we can do that. And then if we want, whoops, clicked on the wrong thing. That happens sometimes. Oh, did it again. Okay, there we go. Here then we've got their organizational display with all of the units and counters and reinforcements and whatnot that they have that would be coming on. And then we've got all of our sort of generic counters. So if you are going to be playing this game using the artillery ammunition, they've got the chits for that. If you need the morale level markers, we've got them here. The standard sort of game markers, minutes, hours, towns on fire, chevaux de frise, grand batteries, things like that. They're over here. And then the ones that we usually have in the maneuver unit cup, artillery chit, reinforcement chit, leader chit, regroup, and then the different moves for the Allies as well as then for the French. Okay, and then we have our unit markers. So if units are activated, artillery ammunition, so you can mark that off. Um, Cavalry charge markers. Now, the fellow who's working on this hasn't updated it yet with the changes to that. Assault markers, disorder, extended line. Let's see, tired and exhausted. So you've got all these different things that are here, roll to close and whatnot. So all of the sort of standard informational counters that you'd have. And of course, then when you actually go to the units, some of these different informational counters you can just automatically bring up. You don't have to go up to the top, find it, pull it down, and plunk it in. A lot of it's kind of built right in, and we'll show that in a second. Then we have our cup. So in our cup, we're going to drop our different counters that we'd have, and then when it comes time to draw them out, we just go ahead and pull them out, and they're going to then show up. The cup randomizes the order that things arrive. So it's kind of like having your standard draw cup. So if you're using either the Regs or Marie Louise or the 5th edition, you have the draw cup as part of the element in your game there. Here then we've got our passage of time, so we can keep track of the hours and the segments of the hours. So right now our Dresden game is at the top of the hour. It's the start of the 8 o'clock turn. Here we'd have, if we have any batteries that have been eliminated, they'd show up over here in the battery box. So this is the standard form that comes with the printed game as well. Finally, we've got our die rolls. So if you've noticed that over here on the sort of top left-hand side, the game is keeping track of everything that moves. So if you move a counter, delete a counter, it's making note of that here on the screen. And so it's letting you know what hex, what unit, and what hex, and where did it end up. Now, if we want to roll a dice, so say it's a initiative roll, light cavalry, right? So you can type in what the roll is for, and then you make the roll. Roll the 6. That's too high. My light cavalry didn't get their initiative this turn. Similarly, say we're making a morale check, right? And it's for the 4th Laguerre, right? We would then roll our 2 dice here. Oh, they rolled an 11. Nope, they failed. So then we're going to put a disorder marker or a routed marker on, and off they go, and they do their thing. So you can keep track of that, or if you and your friend are playing this, people know if I'm playing the French, for example, and I'm making the rolls, here's where it shows up. And you can go through and do your combat, etc. with this. You can take a picture of the board. So if you ever want to take a picture and kind of save things and then upload it, you can do that. And then we can also zoom in and zoom out. So here, if we kind of zoom out, we zoomed in. That was scary how far we got in. Here we can zoom in and we can look at a particular section, and you can scroll around from one side of the battlefield to the other, up and down and sideways. And if we do want to kind of zoom in on a particular section of the battlefield, say we're over in this area and we're looking at a particular unit, and we're moving our units over here and we're counting out our stuff, and say this unit gets shot and we need to mark it. We could go to morale, and we could then hit and put a disorder marker on it, for example. Or say, for example, we need to see what the statistics are in the back. We can just go and flip it over, and we can see that. And as you see here, they have control keys for the units. So the flipping is something, if you've played the game in reality on a tabletop, you know that we're always flipping over the counters to see what the fire, melee, and morale values are. So Control F will get you to flip stuff over so you don't have to use your mouse to do that. So there's a number of different things that you can do in that regard. Um, and then as far as our movement goes, if we want to rotate or about face the unit, there's control keys for that. So if you're going to want to rotate it, the Control X or Control Z are what you would do. So you just highlight the unit, and then let's see, we pull Control X, and we've now rotated it here, and then we can position the unit there in 2 hexes in line, or if it's just 1 hex in line, kind of a thing. So this is some of the concepts with it. Now, another interesting feature is that we can kind of get a line of sight. So if you click up here on the thread, we can then go to, say, this artillery battery, and we can then draw a line through here, and we can say, okay, we're going to fire here, and then the ricochet is going to go there, and then it's going to hit somebody else over there, and just kind of right on down the line, you can kind of get a sense of that. Plus, it tells you what the range is. So if you are firing at a distance, you can get a sense of how that works. So just some cool things. One last thing I didn't talk about up here at the top is, of course, they've got a lot of the charts have been imported. So the stuff with the train key, stacking information, the movement chart, fire defense, fire offense, and then some of the other different charts that were in there, including some of the charts from the Marie-Louise type of stuff. So lots of different information here, and pretty simple, easy to do, and easy to access. So altogether, we've been having a lot of fun with Vassal, and it's after a little bit of time, you kind of get the hang of how it works. You definitely want to learn the different shortcuts because it makes doing everything a lot easier in that regard. And Matthew, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Um, and yeah, if anybody does want to write something in I guess it's the live chat, that would be helpful for me. So that way I can get a sense of how to respond to questions while people are doing stuff, or while we're playing the game. Hi, Michael. Good evening to you too. It's morning here in beautiful sunny Southern California, although it's a little windy today. But you guys must be off in some other part of the universe, so where it's still evening time. But that's kind of what's up. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to start live streaming the Dresden game or the Moscow game. And so even if you aren't able to watch it live, YouTube will have it saved, and then you can watch it at your leisure. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. And one thing, Michael's in Belgium. Good for you. We're going to have to play Ligny, or we'll have to play Mont Saint Jean there, so that we can get our little bit of Belgian countryside stomped over by Napoleon and friends. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun, and it'll be a great way for people to learn more about the games and to, hopefully get comfortable with it. And what I'd really like to do is, by using Discord and Vassal, uh, allow people to play the games from, anywhere in the world. So right now I'm in Southern California, but the fellas that I'm playing with are in Dallas, Texas, which is a couple, 1,000 miles or so away. And but there's nothing to stop us from having players that are in, East Coast or Europe or Australia or who knows wherever else. Um, and so I'm trying to see if there's a way that over time we can build the community, particularly for the La Bataille game series. It's a fun game series. It's one of the better ones dealing with the Napoleonic period, and so it would be a way for people to then connect and find people to play with that they can't necessarily access locally, either because of obviously the issues with the pandemic, but also maybe you just don't have anybody who is interested in playing that game who lives nearby, or might have games themselves. Vassal's a great way to do it. Using Discord or other types of internet communication are great too. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Pete, thank you for saying hello. Um, and I'm going to see if we can then schedule a live feed for either this coming Sunday for the Battle of Moscow, or on Monday for Dresden. Moscow is a 6-player game that we're playing on Vassal, and Dresden, the scenario we're playing, we've got 4 players. So that's about it. Everybody have fun. Thank you, those that checked in and watched, and crossing my fingers that the technology will work. And until the next time, be well.